Nope, we're not allowed to watch. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to the CHGO Bulls Podcast, coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck, Big Dave, BAM! BAWL Sports, Will the Go Golly, perfectly coiffed, even after a tryout, Will_Golly. Our pal producer on the controls, the one and only Young Spathis.
That's him.
At Joey Spathis. What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. That's right, Rob. We're talking P. Willie, a.k.a. Patrick Williams today, moving through our player and team season previews and profiles. We'll do Pat for Prove It today. We're going to look at the Cleveland Cavaliers today. All that ahead. Should be a fun show. But before that, we got to talk about the latest development when it comes to news in the world of Bulls roster construction.
Okay, before you get into that,
Okay.
let me get my crap out the way.
Go for it.
So when I walked in here today, I wore a special hat just for Joey.
Okay. Oh, shit. I just now noticed that you're wearing.
what hat I was
It's because
rocking.
it's black and white.
Yeah, nobody noticed what hat I was rocking. Joey didn't notice what hat I was rocking until about 3 to 5 minutes later. He said, "Oh crap, nice hat, man!" And then he hugged me. Very much so. But I had another part of that announcement, Joe, and this is just for you. This is strictly based on you, and because of the fact that I know you and I respect you and I love you very much.
I'm listening.
So, you know that here in Illinois, we don't do football.
Can I just say real quick, for the podcast listeners, Dave is wearing a black Texas
I'm wearing my
Longhorns hat.
black Texas Longhorn
Welcome.
hat.
It's a clean hat, dude.
Oh, that is raw business.
It looks like a Bulls hat incognito.
Yes,
Yeah, it
on the
does.
low. Ooh, I like that. I didn't even peep that, but
So-
you're right. But yes, but we don't have teams like that here. It's not how we do it here. So just for my main man, Joseph Spathis, I have an announcement. I don't wear hats of teams that I don't root for.
Wow.
It's not what I do. If I put the hat on my head, it's because I root for that team. So from now on, going forward, unless Illinois does something incredible and becomes a national title, I am now officially a Texas Longhorn
Wow.
fan.
Wow.
Because of my man Joe.
Wow.
They're my team now.
Come on.
I'm with you.
We're going all the way.
Yes, we are.
Are you jumping on that bandwagon? Go. I saw you
No, I
flash that hook.
I just like saying hook 'em.
He
Okay.
just likes it.
I
Yeah.
just like saying hook 'em.
I'm doing it for my man. I
don't care
don't
about
have a
college
team.
sports.
Again, I'm from here. We
Yeah.
don't do football like that here. Basketball is a different beast, but football teams not like. So unless Illinois is doing, who's ranked right now? Shout out to them being number 24. But unless they do something super wild and crazy, I from week to week will be rooting for the Texas Longhorns. That is now officially my team.
If you think about it, you're as much from Austin as you are from Champaign.
That's fair. I spent a lot of time in Texas. I did spend a lot of time in Texas, man. I did. I rooted against them just out of spite for the people that I knew down there. I was like, well, you like Texas? Well, then I'm going to root for your villain.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do that. But then I saw Vince Young, and then, like I told Joey my story when that was like the first hat I ever bought was like a Texas Longhorn hat.
Yeah.
Because I loved the logo. I loved how it looked. It was a white and orange one.
Yeah.
It was really smooth. But because Joey's my guy, I will officially be rooting for football-wise
Right.
for the Texas
You like the
Longhorns.
Orange Bears jerseys?
Oh, I love them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a
If only
fan.
they played well when they wore them.
Yeah, too much to ask.
You mentioned Vince Young. Didn't Young Manning, like third-gen Manning,
Yes.
like break one of Vince Young's records in that game the other day?
Well, Joey,
Something about a rushing touchdown?
Longest rushing touchdown by a Texas quarterback since VY.
There you
That's
go.
correct. That
Who,
is
like
Who
hitting Tyreek Hill
threw
speeds?
Arch Manning some love on the socials I saw?
He was
Shout
like
out.
hitting Tyreek Hill speeds.
Yeah, I think they clocked him at 20 miles per
20
hour.
miles per hour is
5.7.
correct.
That's
Yes.
some exciting stuff.
Unreal.
That is 20 miles an hour. Big deal.
It's a very kind gesture of you
Yeah.
to officially adopt him.
Yeah.
I would, but I'm not allowed to. Sorry. I'm like a casual.
You're
Oklahoma.
a casual OU fan.
Really, I didn't know this about
Boomer
you.
Sooner.
I
Yeah,
didn't know this
my
about
brother-in-law. diehard Sooners fan.
Well,
went
me
there.
and Dave,
Shout out Adam.
me and new Texas fan Dave, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
It's gonna get ugly around here.
Yeah. Me and Matt this will probably be the nicest rivalry.
I was gonna say, I pretend like, you know, if I'm with my brother watching an Oklahoma game, I will root for them with him.
Sure,
Sometimes if Oklahoma's got a great matchup on a Saturday where I have time to watch football, I will tune in and root for them.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just like solidarity. Like he adopted the Bears, which he didn't have to do. Well, I mean, like he did. He was, you know, like, you're marrying into our family.
You know what you're doing.
You're a Bears fan now.
Guess what?
We're sorry. 1-1.
1-1.
Could be 0-2.
Long season.
Probably
baby.
should be 0-2.
But we're not.
No.
So it's a long season and winnable games on the horizon. I'm sure Will doesn't believe that.
They're just so Bears.
See,
It was the most Bears game I've ever seen.
Just the
Bears?
Bears game.
I beg
Since
to
last
differ.
weekend, I mean,
Now that was a Bears game. Last week it was a Bears
Like
game.
screenplays that get blown up.
Third and 1.
3rd and 15 all the
everything
time.
is like a
Third
3rd
and 1.
let's go
yard
shotgun.
out. We're going shotgun on 3rd and 1.
it's either a sack or a 3-yard out. Like,
Good God.
how do
Somebody
you
get
expect
Caleb
to
and
get a
lineman.
first down one time if you're
Yeah.
going for a 1 or 2 yard pass every time.
Poor DJ Moore. You know, just the offensive line is ass. Like,
DJ Moore was frustrated
He was
in
Oh,
that
yeah.
final play.
pissed. Pissed. And I'm not mad at him. Caleb's a rookie. Again, he's got a long leash for
I
him.
don't blame
Got a long
Caleb at
leash.
all though. Like,
Yeah, he's got a long leash
He
for
looked a
me.
lot better to me.
He
was getting
did.
the ball out quicker.
Yeah.
He
I
was
thought
making
he was gonna
decisions.
get
He
better.
actually
He
got
did.
100.
He's
Like,
just
Running for his life.
he just
Yes.
Running for his life.
His life,
he
bro.
didn't even have time to run. He was just going down.
He was like, life.
Whoever the defensive coordinator is for Houston clearly figured that out.
And they've got great
And then
edge rushers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get it, but like,
Yeah.
man,
Shout out Anderson.
I can't remember who, but somebody on
Neil
my
Hunter.
Twitter feed this morning said clearly, like, Texans just went all Coach Yotes on him. You know, remember the Titans? You blitz all night. Because that's what they did.
That's what they did.
And it was effective.
Today. It's the day. They will remember the Texans.
Man. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. So shifting gears back to basketball.
Yes, come on,
Bear down. Bear down always.
Bears.
Shout out to our crew. Great job.
Tune in Tavern
With pre and post. Bulls roster construction. That's where we left off. I don't know. Do you know yet if you're the newest starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls?
I know I'm not.
You know you're not. but you could be.
But you could be.
I
Are
mean,
you the newest
I
starting
haven't-
point guard for the Windy City Bulls?
I haven't officially been told yes or no, but I'm pretty
So not no.
sure the
Yeah.
answer is
So it's not a no, though. Go is what you're telling me. So you're saying there's a chance.
In case anybody didn't catch a couple of photos that made their way around Twitter and Instagram over the weekend, why don't you tell the people out there in Bulls Nation what you spent your Saturday doing?
So Saturday morning, the Windy City Bulls held their annual open tryout, and I was there. I was participating. Joey was there with me for emotional support
More friends.
and in case of emergency.
Bone marrow.
Joey's CPR certified?
I
Right.
needed to like get in
got the
touch with
same
my
blood
family
type?
when my legs exploded. No, but it was
mad.
fun.
What are you
It was
talking
fun.
about? Hamstrings.
It was like 8 a.m. to noon, basically.
Oh my God.
And did some shooting drills, some stretching, some scrimmaging.
Okay.
Got a chance to play some like local people that are really good at hoops.
Sure.
And talked to Billy Donovan III and Josh Malone, who are the head coach and the GM of the Windy City Bulls. So it was really cool. Just like open tryout, trying to get a sense of like the talent in their backyard, as they were saying. I was obviously not among that group, but it was fun to be there, and should have a story coming out about it tomorrow, and also maybe some video content, stuff like that. Joey was taking some pictures and some videos, so yeah, it was fun.
I got two questions.
Hit me.
First question, how do you think you did?
I think I did fine. I wouldn't say so. I guess, and I like in the story that I wrote, I kind of like laid out how much basketball I play and like, you know, how like frequently I'm playing and stuff like that. I have not been playing. I used to play a lot, and I have not played really since COVID. I have not been like participating in pickup or anything like that on a regular basis. So when they reached out to me about, you know, coming and writing a story about it, I was like, okay, time to get back in the gym. And it was fun to like get back into it and kind of remember how much I love playing basketball. But all that to say, like, I'm older now than I was 5 years ago when I was playing more regularly. I'm less athletic. Like it's not the same as when you're 25 or when you're 18 or whatever. Yeah. So with that in mind, I think I did fine. I was defending. I was being in the right position. Got some shots up. Made a couple. Missed more than a couple.
I was watching some of that footage that Joey captured right over there before we started our show, and that's a pure stroke. We've seen it before.
Hold on, Joe. Hold on. You finished with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I did well. But I will say this. Night before, obviously very nervous. I'm going to a tryout, which I haven't done since high school. And I get a text from Big Dave, totally unprompted. Just go and do your thing. Don't think about it. You're going to be great. I was like, Dave, just so thoughtful, so nice. I really appreciated that. I needed that.
Hey, man, just tell the truth.
Everybody's cheerleader. Big Dave.
Hey, tell the truth, brother. So, okay, that's the answer I expected from Will. So here's my second question. It's for Joey Spathis.
Yes.
Joey, same question.
Yeah.
How did Will do?
So I have a different perspective on it.
Of course you do.
Will, I thought, I was impressed. I was impressed with Will's game. I actually said to him, I'm like, where do you think this is going to rank in terms of runs that you have played in? Is this going to be in the upper echelon of talent? He's like, yeah, definitely some good players here. So I was like, I'm not sure how Will's going to fit in. I think Will was more than holding his own. I think he maybe wasn't the most skilled, but I think he was one of the most the highest basketball IQ guy out
I would
there.
agree with
Okay, so he was in the right spot. He was talking. He was hustling up and down the floor. I think there were some guys that were taking some plays off on offense. Not Will.
Not go.
Or on defense. If he's taking a play off, it's on offense, which I admire. I thought he filled the floor well. And I thought, he could have played a lot better if his teammates were looking for him at certain points. And so I think that he was – here's my other analysis.
Yes,
GOAT's mind, as you guys know, is very analytical.
Oh, very much so.
In the sense of basketball. So he's talking to me in between these games. He's like, that guy, they're all wearing random numbers. He's like, 253 is kind of the only shot creator we've got. I'm like, GOAT, you got to stop looking at this like you're writing a post-game story and take over the game. Start calling out ISOs. It's not about seriously.
I will say this. It occurred to me after the game. We did a quick interview with BD3 after. And I was like, all right, what's the scouting report? Give me some feedback. How'd I do?
Yeah.
And he was saying, you got to, get the ball up when you're open. Don't be afraid to shoot it.
Shoot the rock.
I was like, that's so, I was, shooting when I was open, but I just wasn't, looking for my shot at all.
So you were Patrick Williamsing out there.
I probably was.
I love that.
Will was shooting when he was open. Everybody else was shooting when they got the ball.
Yeah, right.
Regardless of whether or not they were open. So
everyone else was Antonio Blakening out there.
Everybody was letting it fly. Which, by the way, I think the coaches appreciated. There was a point where Will tried to sub himself out because there was a sixth guy, and the coach said, no, you stay in. Because I think they needed Will to sort of carry, to not let the game devolve into, an utter, street ball pickup.
Yeah, you need I feel like in basketball I can kind of identify what role I need to play depending on who, how good players are.
Yeah.
I played with guys that are really good before, and I played with guys where I'm one of the better players.
Yeah.
And I can do more with the ball.
Sure.
This was not one of those situations. So I was just trying to get up and down in transition, trying to play some defense.
Yeah.
And like Joey said, I was not the best or most athletic or most talented. I wouldn't say I was the very worst person there, but
we know that.
I definitely knew where to be. And
yes.
I think that helped in that setting. So it was a lot of fun, but basically it was some drills for 30 minutes and then 4 10-minute scrimmages. And so end of the first 10 minutes, we won our game and moved up to the next court. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, I'll start on the bench for this next one. And yeah, like Joe was saying, it's nope, you're still in. I was like, I don't know if I can still be in. I was like, I got to pace myself here. But it was a lot of fun. We played, it was separated into 4 courts based on your experience level. They had you fill out a form before. And so I was on the 4th court, obviously. But we won our first game and then moved up to the 3rd court and played each of those 2 teams. And then we played the first team again. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
People in the comments giving you some encouragement. Fish saying lateral speed needs work, but the head was up on defense and you covered the baseline well. Also saying you got big legs, you look strong.
I was going to say, he is you've got a powerful lower body.
Yeah, I don't get like
the thighs were fine.
and I have like, especially with most of these guys being much taller, like
Yes.
I have a lower center of gravity, so I don't. They can't like move me off as easily.
Some guys were trying to post him up
I was like, no.
at certain points in the scrimmage. I'm like, take that elsewhere.
But Joey also was like, man, I hope he gets dunked on. That would be great.
Come on now.
Well, I did say that.
It would be
and I
great
wasn't
content.
hiding It would have been good content. And
It's
listen,
not good content.
as soon as the second scrimmage starts, the guy that Will's guarding, who was much bigger, and he was much bigger than any of the guys in the first game, and he was athletic, and he sort of got the ball in the short corner. And for a second, I'm like, oh, here it comes. He's about to punch one. And Goat actually, I think you got a hand on that.
I stripped
one.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hey, let's go.
I had
was
like 2 or 3
really actually-
steals.
I saw.
I had a block.
you
you
were
were
very
channeling
impressive
Caruso
on
out there.
defense and
I was
active.
trying to channel Caruso though.
Yeah, I saw some scrappiness in the footage I've seen so far. Yeah, Colin dropping tomorrow. Some footage that Joey's going to pile together.
It was
And
fun though. Really want to thank the Bulls and the Windy City Bulls PR staff for inviting me and letting us do the content and talking with Billy and Josh Malone and those guys. So it was a lot of fun. I'm
Shout
very
out.
appreciative.
very awesome.
out.
I'm glad you're here, and
Shout
I'm
out,
glad
Goat.
that none of your
Come on,
muscles
baby.
have ruptured.
Yes.
We got to take
injuries.
a little break, and then we'll come back and dive into Patrick Williams' prove-its for the upcoming Bulls season.
Ray!
Righty-o, Ray.
CDJR. Shout out to him, man. Before you hit the road this fall, head to Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram and start your adventure right there.
Oh, sales guy Jim
Oh,
showed up.
sales guy Jim
guys.
showed up. This September, shop new, lower prices across their huge inventory during the Jeep Adventure Days, which is going on right now. For a limited time, lease the new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo for $239 a month for only 27 months, or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. Let the amazing team at Ray CDJR help you during each step of your car shopping journey, because with that Ray's price promise, the numbers you're hearing right now are the same numbers you can expect to shop in-store and online. That's because Ray's price promise means no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees ever. Since they prioritize affordability for their customers, hurry into Ray CDJR today and shop one of Chicago area's largest inventories. Then drive home with more money in your hip pocket than you'd expect. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you've got to check out the team at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, because they are the only team that we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com. Serving the community since 1963.
Bam. Today's show also brought to you by Empire Today. Floors, floors, floors.
No matter what.
With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and that low price guarantee. Empire's the best place to get new flooring, so of course they have copycats in the market. But Empire cannot be beaten on quality, can't be beaten on service or speed. So competitors, all they can do is advertise low quality products at low prices that Empire doesn't even bother to carry, because it's low quality products.
That's right.
Empire won't promise the lowest price, but they will put the best quality flooring with the best service and installation crews around. Anyone who does offer the lowest prices is just putting crap floors in your home, and you don't want crap floors in your home. You want quality floors in your home. Check out that virtual floor designer, a great way to see how new floors will look in any space in your home, your kitchen, your dining room, your bathrooms, your bedrooms. It's easy. Just snap a picture, instantly see how new floors will look in each room. Shopping for floors at a big box store can be frustrating, because you might be talking to somebody that's working in the flooring department today that was working out in the garden in the parking lot yesterday. They're not experts. With Empire, it's always flooring experts. They pride themselves on their convenient shop at home service and helping customers shop for floors where they use their floors, so they can see exactly what they'll look like. They also service their own warranties. If an issue arises, just call Empire. They service all warranties themselves. Schedule free and estimate today. All of our listeners can receive a $350 discount. That's stacks on stacks on stacks. When they use promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/CHGO for details. 588-2300. Dave. Empire Today. Woo. Woo. Woo.
Got that right
Gotta
there.
get those
warm.
Get those pipes warmed up. I mean, season's almost here. You got to get those pipes warmed up.
Ready, man. I'm ready. Oh, I'm ready. Come on, bring it on. Toss the ball up.
Shimon.
Blow the whistle.
Shimon Lee.
Shimon Lee. Shimon. Get closer. Oh, get closer. I'm burning up.
Chris Tucker's MJ impression.
Oh,
underrated,
flawless, man.
Underappreciated.
Flawless, dog.
Shout out Rush Hour 2.
It really is good. Shout out to him, man. Chris Tucker. Please make Rush Hour 4.
Please.
Please.
And I don't know. Please hire Patrick Williams to be in your movie because I don't know if he wants to be a basketball player.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, man.
There's a segue for you.
Slap.
We're talking about Patrick Williams and his prove-its for the upcoming season.
Don't take that, Pat.
Guys, a big day. We were talking about Pat in some capacity not that long ago, like maybe one of our shows back in August. And we were talking concerns about the younger guys in the roster, and you were like, well, Pat is like, this dude healthy.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, season-ending surgery is how Pat's season ended. Mm-hmm. They made the announcement in, I think, February. He had been out since late January. They found that it was a bone edema going on in his left foot that led to what they found to be and confirmed a stress fracture in that left foot.
Crazy.
It is the same injury that a young Michael Jordan had just, whatever that was, 10 games into his second season, 85-86.
That is correct.
That caused him to miss almost all of that season. Mm-hmm. So,
well,
I mean, you and a few of your fellow beat members out in Vegas when we were there for Summer League caught up with Pat.
Flex.
And it sounded like the update towards the end, I guess that was still mid-off season. He had signed his contract at that point, but it was like a little unclear if it was like he will be ready for training camp because he's ready now. Like, what do you make of Pat's readiness as we are now just a couple weeks removed from training camp?
I mean, we haven't heard anything since Las Vegas, which was like 2 months ago now. But at that point, he was like 4.5 months into a 4 to 6 month timeline. So he should be ready to go. All indications were that he was going to be ready to go by training camp. He said he was going to be ready to go. The Bulls have said he's going to be ready to go. I don't think they sign him to a 5-year, $90 million deal if they feel like there's any, I mean, maybe if he was going to miss like a little bit of time at the start of the season, that would have been fine. But like if they thought this was going to be a serious long-term injury, they're not obviously giving him that kind of deal. So I think he's going to be ready to go. And like, I mean, he's always seemed very confident and like understands what his talent level is and what people expect of him.
Sure. But
it just felt a little different, even compared to last year going into training camp when we were talking to him a bunch. And it was just like, well, what are the expectations for you? And he's like, I feel like I still have like that kind of potential. Mm-hmm. And he just had like a different aura about him in terms of like the torch has been passed now. DeMar is gone. Like he has a real opportunity. I think he knows that. And I don't expect like, I don't subscribe to this idea that like DeMar was holding him back or anything like that. Like DeMar, like Patrick had plenty of opportunities to be an effective, efficient, good role player with DeMar. And I think that's technically like a more simple role to fill than somebody who has the ball in your hands a lot. But I also think he's a rhythm player and is more comfortable with the ball in his hands. So I think he will have more opportunity. I don't think that necessarily means that DeMar was holding him back, but I think he'll feel more involved, more empowered in the offense when he has the ball. And I think that will hopefully help him and his confidence even when his shot isn't falling, so that he's more productive and more active when he doesn't have the ball. I think that's going to be a huge thing for him this year. But I expect Patrick to kind of pick up where he left off, which was playing some of his best basketball in December and January prior to his injury.
Well, do you think that in this season, like, because again, I think offensively, everything's kind of on the table for this team. Because like you said, they don't really have the go-to guy anymore, DeMar, where, no, we're getting DeMar the ball and then we're running everything through that. That really hasn't been answered yet. So within that, do you feel like you'll see a different kind of iteration of Patrick Williams offensively where, like you just said, he likes to be more involved and get into the rhythm? Do you see him like bringing the ball up a little more? Do you see more plays kind of being run for him, whereas opposed to him having to create it on his own? And when he knows the play is not run for him, he just kind of goes stands in the corner, or he should be standing under the bucket trying to get rebounds, but that's another story. But do you see that changing for him, like as far as just the ball being more in his hands and being more involved in this offense?
I don't know about like him specifically, maybe a little bit. But I think that just the offense is going to have to change in a big way because, as we've talked about before, I think if you are looking at this team trying to be the same version of themselves last year minus DeMar, it's going to be a disaster, right? And so in order to make up for that gap, you need to change who you are identity-wise. And so I think there's going to be more movement. There's going to be faster pace. There's going to be more opportunities, more ball sharing, not as much kind of isolation stuff. And again, that doesn't make DeMar a bad player or a selfish player or anything. That's not the case at all. It's just that's what he was best at. And now nobody's there to fill that role. So what do you have to do? You just have to spread the wealth a little bit more and make it a little bit more of a faster paced game. I think Giddey will help Patrick. I think just more kind of usage and opportunity and understanding that now they paid me to be a guy who has to go out there and produce. So I just think things are going to change in general this year just based on the personnel. That was the complaint for the past 3 years. How can you change your style of play when the team itself stays the same? That's obviously no longer the case. So I think there's a real opportunity for Patrick. But at the same time, and this has been true the whole time, he has to go out there and get it. It's not just you gift him a bunch of isolation possessions. Yeah. It's not just that he's out there and his only opportunities are catch and shoot threes. He can cut to the basket. He can attack closeouts. He can create when the ball is reversed to him. And those opportunities were there all last year, all the year before that, and for his first 2 years. So I think he needs to continue to have the mentality of scoring and aggression when those opportunities present themselves, even though he may have additional plays drawn up for him, which may have not been the case in years past.
We got people, sort of optimistically looking at Pat's season ahead in the comments, and some who are a bit more skeptical. Michael Gardner agreeing with what you just brought up, Goat, that he thinks Giddey will create a lot of good, easy looks for Patrick. Meanwhile, Chocolate Salty Bulls saying, has Pat ever been ready? He needs to prove he's not passive. Rob pointing out the uptick in Pat's three-point percentage after the cold start. And some of that was happening when the Bulls kind of, as a team, bounced back in December and started winning some more games. Pat was shooting the ball better. True. Etruscan Raider, meanwhile, saying Patrick would have to change everything about his approach to the game and his technique. He is not going to change. And that is an emphatic way to say you don't believe in Patrick Williams looking like a different player this season as opposed to last season or any season prior. But I do know that Etruscan Raider in the comments is not alone among Bulls fans. There are some who gave up on Patrick Williams turning into anything better or bigger or more developmentally charged than what we've seen so far, and have done so a while ago, Dave.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And I'm not mad at any Bulls fan for feeling that way about Patrick Williams. You had a long list and a long time to get to this point, whereas some people might have saw it early and felt like they weren't on the bandwagon. Some people just continued to ride it and said, no, I'm getting off now. I get it. As I've said a million times, this is my last year. This is my year.
Yeah,
this is the year.
Somewhere Mark K is patiently waiting for you.
Oh, yeah, somewhere, right.
Shout out, Mark.
Exactly. Shout out, Mark K. But this has always been the year for me because, again, I don't want to get too into it because then it'll get into my prove it stuff. But Patrick, man, the talk, and Will just talked about it a little bit, how his demeanor changed and how he feels those things. And I'm hearing him, and I'm just like, yeah. But dude,
a lot of talk, but
the talk, as I tell you all the time, man, saying ain't like doing, bro. I gotta see this on the floor happen. Patrick, to me, has always been that guy who it feels like, and again, I could be completely wrong, but it just felt like everything had to be lined up perfectly within him for him to say, okay, now I'm gonna make this move. The foot had to be feeling great, the knee had to be great, the shot had to be open, he had to know what was going on, and then he's gonna go make the move. And then when he makes it and the guy's there like, oh, I know what you're about to do. Here's a block. I never see him do it again. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't try to go for it one more time. That kind of stuff has to change. So I understand. And again, I'm just holding to the standard he set for himself. He has come out and said, I know I can be an all-star in this league. Yeah. And then he came out and said, well, I already knew I could be an all-star, but I think I can be an all-pro in this league. These are his words. He's saying these things. So I'm not putting any expectations on him that he has not placed upon himself.
Yeah, that's fair.
So he put that on himself, man. So we need to see it because we like the words. They're nice. They're pretty. They're awesome. But you have to showcase it on the floor because neither all-pro or all-star is going to cut it with 10 points and 4 rebounds. That's just not going to cut it. That just makes you a nice role player, which is why you got paid as you got paid, bro. So it's just that time. Is all I'm telling you. It's just that time.
Fish saying that Pat needs to absorb film BDB using the Justin Fields, Caleb Williams comparison as far as developmental players, hoping that P. will break out this year. One more quick break. We're going to come back and dive into our specific proof. It's what we each want to see from Pat this season.
Matt's choosing chill.
Always.
How do I know that? Because he got an icy cold frosty Coors Light. It's got that beverage, ladies and gentlemen. You hear him.
Woosah.
Between work, social media, and the choices life throws our way. It's no wonder we're more worked up, Bears. Coors Light celebrates rising above and choosing a chill mindset. Why not turn that rained out barbecue into the Will to Go Gottlieb and the Windy City G League 45th annual karaoke house party?
That's the party that celebrates him making the team, right?
Oh, got that right. Starting point guard, baby. Let's roll. Or after a tough loss, or maybe a starting two guard. We can get that. After a tough loss, settle scores with the ice cold peace offering. Make the choice to choose chill and then reach for a Coors Light. It is Mountain Cold refreshment because when those mountains turn blue, oh yes, you know what to do. It's as cold as Rockies. Cold lager, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. So when you embrace chill, always it's a good time to choose Coors Light and crack open a frosted cold one. Mountain Cold refreshment that is crisp and refreshing as a Colorado Rockies. Make the most out of your time to choose chill. Choose Coors Light. Get it delivered straight to your door via Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO basketball. That's CoorsLight.com/CHGO basketball. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Oh my God, it just warms my heart every time. I don't know why I love it so much, but I do.
Put some steak on it, man.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, help me. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary,
Sunnyside?
who are here to elevate. Yeah, that's right. The tail end of your Chicago summer, not over yet. Tank is out. Summer Peck's still here. It's still 80-something degrees outside.
He's holding on tight.
It's the middle of September. What's going on? Mm-hmm. Well, Sunnyside's here for you until summer ends. And then after that, whichever season comes next. Sunnyside has a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from and easy online ordering plus in-store pickup. Wherever you are in the great state of Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you and near you. Spots as far south as Champaign, shout out Illini, and as far north as South Beloit. Stop into the store nearest you for expert guidance from their expertise staff and select from quality lines like Cresco and FloraCal. Also, be sure to try out the Good News brand's Tea Time disposable vape, bringing classic lemonade flavor that's perfect for the golf course. I love lemonade flavors. I love lemonade because all we need is a little. We all need a little help staying loose on the green, and of course, also be sure to check out the free Spirit vapes and cartridges, plus that lush mango flavor, all new from Good News with those vapes and cartridges. Perfect for tapping into your flower power.
Happy to.
You can get 50% off your first three online orders from Sunnyside with promo code HICHGO at checkout. Exclusions apply. Again, that's promo code HICHGO for 50% off your first three orders. It's like 150% off when you add it up.
Pretty good.
It's incredible value. Yeah, Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 and over or Illinois medical card holders. All right, let's get to it. What do we want to see Patrick Williams prove to us?
Can I say one thing about Pat?
Please do,
Joe. Talking about is Pat going to be passive P this year? And we've been asked. It really does feel a little bit like we're talking about the Bears, where it's like, okay, this year's going to be different. And it's like, well, we kind of said that every year. Is this year actually going to be different? And then eventually we reach the point where it's like, okay, this is what it is. And we have that with a lot. Like, I feel that way about Velus Jones a little bit, where we keep going like, is this the year? Is he gonna be able to catch the ball and hold on to it? And then
I knew it last year.
That's and I do. And this is the part where I'm like, God, you're such an idiot. Like, you should learn these lessons. Patrick's not going to change. But I
think more Bulls fans still believe in Pat than any Bears fans that were left that still believed in Velus Jones Jr.
Well, there's a difference between a 4th overall pick and second, third round pick.
Yeah,
I mean, here's the thing. I think in general, you're right, Joey. Like, players typically, you figure out who they are before their 5th year in the league.
Sure.
The thing is, the Bulls have had multiple players, Kobe White, Lauri Markkanen, Jimmy Butler, who have broken out in their 4th and 5th years.
Correct.
And so I think that gives Bulls fans this a little bit unfair perspective about guys.
Sure.
Typically, that's not how it works. And Patrick's still young, but that experience matters. He also has missed almost a full season and then half a season. So I'm not saying it's not possible. And I believe in Pat. I think I'm actually maybe one of the more hopeful people about Pat.
Yeah.
But I would just also say that, like, typically that kind of jump, especially when there is no real, like, tangible evidence of that thing coming beforehand, that kind of jump in the 5th year is very rare.
Yeah.
It really doesn't happen. So I think the fact that you've seen literally 10-4 on the same percentages every single year of his career, it's difficult to imagine him going all the way up to like 20 points per game.
Sure.
So I think there's room for growth. I do expect him to improve, and I think he can, but I think we're a ways away from him getting to a point where he's like the best player on the team. Not saying that anybody feels that way, but if that's what you're hoping for, he's going to have to show real strides this year before you can even get to that point.
Absolutely.
And I think it's the same thing with Kobe. Even Kobe, his first year in the league, played great for a certain stretch before COVID. And so then he comes back, his role changes, the team changes, he gets hurt, the team changes again, and his role is shifting and stuff. But you've seen at one point he has the ability to do that. We haven't really seen Pat put that together for longer than a month or maybe even less than that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, he had that 35-point game in Minnesota in game 82 2 seasons ago. But that's really what you're talking about when you're saying he's shown flashes. Yeah. He's got to do it more consistently. Again, not saying he can't do it. I think he can be much better, and I expect him to be, but that's the kind of jump we're talking about here.
Right.
Very rare to do.
Agreed.
Eco Bean has entered the chat saying P. Will thinks too much on the offensive end. Hopefully he's gained enough experience to read and react. Rob following that saying, quick decision making is key. Also, quick shout out to our friend Lars, who said, "What's good, y'all? In Chicago for the first time in a long time tonight. Going to Cubs A's tonight.
Shout out.
Went to Sox A's yesterday. Just hit the Art Museum, hitting all the highlights.
A good time.
And going to a White Sox game. I don't know why you do that to yourself, but
it's literally 50 cents.
They're paying you,
and that is 50 cents too many.
25.
Verbal abuse? I will pay you verbal abuse to go to a White Sox game. So, all right, guys, what do we want to see from Pat? Everybody in the chat, if you have anything specific you want to see from Patrick Williams this year, let us know. Let your fellow Bulls fans in the chat know, whether it's something like statistic or whatever it is you want to see from Pat.
Yeah.
Let's start here. Talking about the departure of DeMar and whether or not it was ever a valid excuse for Patrick Williams not being a more aggressive and involved offensive player.
Okay.
I thought about a lot of different options for what I wanted my Pat Prove It to be. I thought about something related to three-point attempt rate and his three-point percentage. He was just shy. I think after his cold start, he nearly built himself back up to 40%. I think he was literally like 0.399 at the end of the year.
Okay.
But instead, I decided to go with something that GOAT you posed to Patrick 2 years ago when we were doing these Prove It.
Oh.
You wanted to see him get his usage percentage up to 18. Which he had not done at that point in his career. At that point in his career, he had usage percentages of 14.9 as a rookie and 14.2 in his only 17 games second season. You asked 18 of him in the 22-23 season. He fell shy of that, 15.7. This past season, injury-shortened 43-game season, did go up to 16.6. So we're heading in the right direction with Pat and his usage. I know that people are saying, gosh, like there's still so many players here. Giddey needs to come in and get his touches, but maybe those Giddey touches lead to good looks for Pat. And we got to, accentuate Zach LaVine and make the rest of the league believe that he's a good player they want to trade for again. Sure. And obviously Kobe's going to get his touches and his shots. Is it feasible for Patrick Williams to do much more than that, be a high teens usage percentage player? DeMar DeRozan is gone. DeMar's shots, DeMar's ISO possessions, DeMar's free throw attempts, gone. I have been someone who has believed this whole time that, of course, there is at least some correlation between DeMar DeRozan being here and Vooch and Zach and Patrick Williams chilling and just being Patrick Williams and nothing more than what we've seen. Flat out, zero excuses left. Young squad, and you project to be one of the younger vet starters in this lineup out of the gate. 20% usage percentage, Pat. Woo! You have no reason not to. Woo! 20%. Whoa. I'm only asking for a 3.5 point jump from last year in his 43 games. He was at 16.5. Credit to him. Give me 20%, Pat. Prove to me that you actually want to be a game-changing offensive NBA player. Prove it to me. Because I don't believe you are, and I don't believe that you care right now.
Talk that, Matt. See, I like that. Now, that's a goal. He's setting out a challenge out there for that young man. I like this, Matt. I like this.
Again, I disagree with that. I think, I don't think you could say, like, he doesn't want to. I think he's just had a really hard time understanding how to manage that. And I think he's been deferential for sure.
Right.
But I don't think that is the same as he's not interested. And not saying that's what you mean, but I just feel like he has an opportunity now to like put his foot down a little bit more.
Right.
And I think that's kind of more the way at least I would put it.
If it was so that he was just being a younger guy who's deferring to vet teammates like DeMar and Vooch and Zach, okay, well, yeah, Vooch and Zach are still here, but this is a youth movement now. So go get yours because you are smack dab in the middle of, hey, I was the first selection made by this front office. So I am one of the more veteran young guys in a youth movement. And as you mentioned, Goat, also just got myself a new 5-year deal for $90 million. A modest 5-year deal, monetarily speaking, compared to some of Pat's contemporaries from the 2020 draft class who are making buco bucks more than that because they have proven more than Pat has on an NBA floor thus far.
Yeah, I see that. I hear that. I like that. And I'm going to continue with that.
Let's go.
I had no stats. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm sick of it.
Oh, okay.
As you already know, what my prove it is, if you've been watching the show, it's not hard. You know what it is. It's the no excuses tour, y'all.
Yeah.
That's what we on. We are on the no excuses tour. And Matt, you touched on it towards the end of your soliloquy right there. It's done. I'm done with it, bro. I am. I'm finished with it. I can't. There's nothing else I can really say anymore. It's about action now for me. I got to see it. No more words, no more talking, none of that. I have to see it on the floor. And I'm not even talking 20 and 10.
Yeah, that was my question.
You know what I'm saying?
What is it?
I'm not even talking that. I'm talking better than what I've been watching. That's what I'm talking. I'm talking some fulfillment of the potential that we see that you have. Some of that. We've seen it in the 3-point range, and I've seen it defensively. I've seen that potential be touched and expounded upon and grown in those areas right there. But there's more there, and we all talk about it all the time. That's why we're like 10 points ain't enough. You can't go 4 straight games with like 4 shots, and everybody's cool with that. Yeah. No, you can't have me 3-4 rebounds. That's not good enough. You have more skill than that. That's the frustrating part of it when we having these discussions about him is we're watching this person and we're seeing how big he is. And we know, like you said, he can fit on all 30 teams because he's a 3-and-D dude. He is the prototype. If you put up a silhouette of an NBA player prototype, it'll be his. You know, just looking at that dude like, yeah, I want that guy on my team. Again, 20 and 10 is not what I'm talking about right now. He has to get to that. But we have to start seeing this stuff start paying off where we're like, oh, yeah, there's the potential we talked about. I'm watching Ayo reach his. I'm watching Kobe reach his. I'm watching Dalen go for his like I ain't never seen nobody go for this. Whether he reaches it or not, he's going balls to the wall for it. I want Pat to be the same way. I know Modest is going for it. I need Pat to be that same kind of way. Mm-hmm. That's all we want is him to give us that effort and show us like, yeah, dude, y'all wasn't wrong when y'all thought I was that guy or I got the potential to be that dude. Here goes 15 and 8 right here. Here goes 16 and 7 right here. Here goes one game where I scored 20 plus points. I mean, I know he can do these things. I just need to see him on a more consistent basis. And that's why it's the no excuses tour for me. Because all that stuff is out the window. Like you said, DeMar is gone. He's a veteran now. I'm going to have to defer to Zach because we don't even know if Zach going to be here, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he don't have to defer to nobody. Like you said, it's a youth movement. So it is on his kind of thing. I think, he might have the ball a little bit more, make a little more decisions and things like that. And again, like I said, I'm strictly talking offensively. I've seen him defensively reach that kind of potential. I need to see it on the other end of the floor, man. It hasn't been good enough, and injury-wise or whatever you want to say, all of it is out the window. He's healthy. No one's in front of you. You're going to get all the time in the world to do your thing. We have got to see it now, this season.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think it leads into mine well, which is just like the baseline for me. My prove it is the baseline has to be what you put up in December.
Okay.
Which that was AK's famous, like, Patrick was on a tear in the month of December. Like he was playing his best basketball then. Like,
okay.
It was between, and it was a little bit extended.
Is this like the Lowry market in February of that one year? Way back.
February.
From November 22nd to December 30th, which is when the last game before he got hurt, he was 14 points, 4.5 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 0.8 steals, 0.8 blocks on 52, 49, 75 shooting splits. And I think maybe the shooting is a little hot. I think there are times where he like scores because he just made 3 out of his 5 threes instead of 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen. But I think he was more decisive at that time. I think he was looking for his offense a little bit more at that time. And that was when Zach was out. So it was just DeMar and Vooch and Kobe. And I think that's kind of the mentality that he needs to have for this year. And so to me, like, that should be the baseline. I don't want to see 10-4 again. Like, you got to do a little bit more than that. And here's the thing. You mentioned like Kobe and Io and Dalen going out and getting it. Like, Pat's had those opportunities too.
Yes.
And so I think that's kind of like the disconnect is like the opportunities are there. Why isn't there a little bit, I don't want to say like desire, because I know Patrick, at least from what he's told me, that like he really wants it. But I think, you know, and he's said this like in the least critical way possible, but just as a fact of the matter, it's hard to fit in around 3 guys that need the ball like that. It's not the case anymore. Giddy's in, Zach is in, obviously Vooch is there, Kobe's there, but there's going to have to be a little bit more looking for your own. And yeah, I think it's kind of like you're saying, Dave, now or never. This is no excuses tour, but I think if he can just be the baseline of that's how he was in December and then build on top of that, that's what I want to see from Patrick this year.
And even more so, Will, this Bulls team now has more guys who are looking for other guys on this team. Like Lonzo is going to be looking for other guys. Dalen loves to pass. You know, Modest Buzelis has shown you he don't need the basketball. Like when his coach was here, he talked about that. You're a rookie. You're not going to get the ball. You have to play without it. We saw it in the summer league. He didn't need the basketball to do it, but when he got it, he did his thing. So he enjoys his teammates winning.
Right.
You know what I mean? Around him. So he has, and Vooch as well. Vooch is one of the best passing centers in the league, in my opinion. So he has these people around him that have no problem sharing the basketball, have no problem putting him in a position to succeed, and no problem getting a good position to him to win. He's got to step into it this year because I can't hear no more of it after this year, bro. I just can't.
Yeah. You know, I think that's, you know, why I was maybe a little harsh in how I wrapped up my prove it. Because, you know, I'm with you, Go. Like, if he starts out by just saying, okay, I can replicate what I did this month of the last season before getting hurt when I maybe was starting to feel comfortable in my role and go from there, I'm fine with that. I think that's a modest and achievable goal. When I was saying the thing about, like, you know, like, prove to us that you want to be an NBA player, because sometimes I don't believe you are. Dave, you were talking about it like, I don't care about this, that, or that. I don't care about DeMar's touches, Zach's touches, Vooch touches. I think something that frustrated Bulls fans, even those of us who have wanted to and have most of the time believed in a potential for a better, more effective and more, you know, game effective Patrick Williams, is that sometimes when he's out there in his role, he doesn't even seem to be tuned in, caring about his more modest role than some of his star teammates who are getting all the touches and all the shots. And that is why, in my opinion, he at various points throughout the first 4 NBA, you know, seasons of his career has lost his starting job to a variety of different people.
That's true.
Torrey Craig, Alex Caruso, Javonte Green.
That's true.
No disrespect, Javonte. Bulls fans, we all love Javonte and our 5 Javonte. But come on, man. A 4th overall pick who was saying, here, we're going in a new direction. You're the starter.
Yeah.
Starting power forward, that's you, Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
And how many times do we sit here in a postgame show and say, was Pat even out there tonight?
Yeah, we did.
Whether you are the 1A star on a team or the 12th guy on the bench, to me, when I watch a full 48-minute basketball game and say to my buddies here, did Pat play tonight? That's the thing that bugs me about Pat.
Yeah.
Thrive in your role, even if it's a more modest role, and have the freaking mentality and like pride to hope that your role this year is going to be bigger and get around an NBA court and behave on an NBA court like it is. Mm-hmm. I know people make the Kawhi comparison and the fact that like you could be a calm, demeanored person.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Kawhi does that and is an all NBA player, MVP caliber person, finals MVP. Mm-hmm. You have to be that or else people will question your care factor, which is what I think happens a lot with Pat.
But here's the thing is Patrick, like, it's kind of like the Giddey effect where it's like this guy needs the ball in his hands in order to be effective because the things that he does well require you to have the ball in his hands, and he also hurts you when he doesn't have the ball in his hands because he's not a good shooter, he's not a good defender. So you got to put the ball in his hands because he's hurting you if he doesn't. But I feel like that's kind of the same with Patrick, except he is kind of good at the role player stuff. He can shoot it, He can defend, but there are these things in his game that I think are holding him back from being good enough to warrant having the usage that we're talking about here. And so I want to see that he worked on his speed of his jump shot release. That needs to improve because he can shoot, but if you can't get him off when someone's closing out, like that, you're not helping yourself. Sure. Like now you have to attack the basket. And the other thing, which I've been saying for a really long time, is his ball handling. He needs to be able to get all the way to the rim.
Yeah.
A lot of times he just stops and pops at the elbow. That's fine. But like if you, as we talked about with Kobe, as we talked about with Io, it's like if you want to be an efficient scorer in the league, you have to get to the foul line. We've been talking about this with Patrick for years. Patrick's been talking about it for years. Like, I need to up my free throws. The DeMar free throw attempt stuff is gone. Like somebody has to fill that gap, and Patrick can do it. He's physical. He can get contact, but he has to be able to get all the way to the rim. And the way his handle is right now, he's not able to do that. So I really hope he worked on that this summer. I really hope he worked on the speed of his release, because those things you weave it together, and that helps you as a basketball player. If you have to be if you can close out slow to Patrick, it takes away the drive, and you're less concerned about the shot because he can't get it off quickly. If you really have to get out there and close out hard on him, that opens up the driving lanes to where he can get all the way downhill. So it's just like all these things need to come together. And I think that has held him back at times from being the aggressive, explosive role player that he should be. Mm-hmm. But I also don't think that means that it translates well to him having the ball in his hands. Okay. If he struggles with the ball, if he struggles with his ball handling, why would you put the ball in his hands to create offense? So he really needs to work on that either way, because I think it will really help him. I think the speed of his release is the same thing. Like, he's just got to be able to get the shot off. He can't shoot off the dribble because he can't load up quick enough, and you can't separate. So he's got a lot, I think, to work on. Mm-hmm. He has tools. He has the work ethic, I think. He has the physical attributes, but he's got to develop his skill game a little bit more. And I just think you kind of need to put the ball in his hands to see if he can do it. But also it's on him, I think, to put that work in over the summer and enhance those skills, because we've all known for a long time, like, the work, you can see the work that you put in. Sure. So I hope that's what he's been working on during this recovery process and off season.
I just want to also inform again, AK and Mark Eversley, that like last year, I am still available to be the positive affirmation liaison. I will happily sit behind Patrick Williams and yell at him positively, because my record is 1-0. I will not let you forget the game when I won Goon of the Night, because I was yelling at Patrick Williams that he is the man. Get out there and ball. And he went out there and was aggressive and balled. He heard me because I saw him turn around like, who is this awesome looking human yelling at me? And it was me, but it was all love. Patrick, we believe in you, man. We do. This is what this is, sir. This is love. I believe in you, dog, but it's time to do your thing. And I will be happy, Mark Eversley and AK, to sit near that bench and talk and talk and talk all love all game long. I promise you. I'll do it. I got you.
I believe him.
Yeah.
All right. With our time remaining, we can shift focus and talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, another Bulls Central Division foe. We talked about the Bucks already. As we look through the entire Eastern Conference, as we near training camp and the fresh season that lies ahead. Guys, this will be easy, I think, to do in our remaining time, because the Cavs offseason was basically out of the AK playbook. They said, hey, lost in the conference semis, but continuity. Continuity is king. The only thing that wasn't really continuity is that they fired J.B. Bickerstaff.
Yes.
And hired Kenny Atkinson.
Yes.
After a season in which they went 48-34, and as I mentioned, lost in the conference semis to the eventual champion Boston Celtics. They did manage to get it a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
A loss to Boston in 5 in the conference semis.
Yeah.
They had a middling, not quite mediocre offense last season. One of the elite defenses in the league. And a bit above average with that plus 2.5 net rating, 13th in the NBA. Of that elite defense, some of their strong points were keeping their opponents to a modest effective field goal percentage on a nightly basis, 6th best mark for opponent EFG in the league, and once forcing their opponents into those difficult shots and those misses, corralling the boards, they also had the 6th best defensive rebounding percentage in the NBA. So they keep this model other than who is out there coaching them this season.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about Donovan Mitchell. What's he going to do? Is he going to decide to leave? Is he going to do this or that? Re-ups, 3 years, $150. Evan Mobley, re-ups, 5 years, $224 million on that rookie extension. Re-signed Jared Allen, 3 years, $90. Just the other day, struck a deal with Isaac Okoro, who re-signed for 3 years and $38. Also added a couple of youngsters in the draft. Jalen Johnson with the 20th pick. Luke Travers late in the second with the 56th pick. And when you talk about who they lost, no offense to any of the names I'm about to say, but Marcus Morris, Isaiah Mobley, not the Mobley, but, the Mobley, and Damian Jones. I don't think the Cavs really lost anything this offseason other than they dismiss Bickerstaff and they hire Atkinson go. What do you make of this?
I mean, they had such an interesting season because they dealt with a ton of injuries. Darius Garland missed, I think, over a month with a broken jaw. Mobley had a knee injury. He missed time. And so they never really got whole down the stretch. There was a period of time earlier on in the season, midway through the season, where they were one of the best teams in basketball. So I think there's a belief that they can reach a higher level than what they got to if they're able to sustain it for a full season. Obviously, you bring in a more creative offensive-minded coach. Maybe that will change some things. Ultimately, I think they just need to decide, can you play two bigs next to each other? Is that feasible in today's NBA? But I think with their age and the ability for them to get something back in return for any of those guys, if they do ultimately decide to move them, it made sense to continue on with this group. But I think they're a very good team. I think they're one of the better defenses. But we also know that they played their best when they had shooters around one of the centers and Donovan. So,
also a top 10 team in the NBA last season in three-point attempt rate.
Yeah, get up a ton of threes, spread pick and roll. That really worked for them. So can they do that when they want to play two bigs? I don't know, but I'm betting on Evan Mobley to continue to improve because that guy is a great prospect.
He is. I feel like they fired J.B. Bickerstaff and hired the white J.B. Bickerstaff. That's what I kind of feel. Kenny Atkinson, I mean, he solid coach. Like you said, offensively, it's proven. He's definitely a solid coach. And the three-point attempts also, shout out to Max Strus because he's a reason for that as well. He played really well for them last year. I think that's just going to continue. He's a great player to have. He's in that Caruso mode of the kind of players that just fill the gaps for you, can do anything you need on the floor, and then has the three-point shot that is just awesome. They are in such an interesting position because when you think of them, I don't think you really think of a top 3 team in the East, but you're definitely thinking like 4 or 5 for sure. That's what you're thinking about.
Finished as the 4th seed last season.
And
it was like, I think they were 48, Milwaukee had 49, and there were 3 teams at 47 wins.
Right there. Yeah, man. And they're going to be in that, in that kind of bunch going forward, in my opinion, for like the next couple years. We'll see what happens with the top half. I mean, injuries happen, other things occur. They could easily move up and do those things, but they just always still feel like that second round team to me.
Yeah.
That if they get out that second round, that's the reward. That's like, oh, snap, they made it to the conference finals? That's crazy. Donovan Mitchell definitely doesn't look at it like that. That dude wants to win now and all the time. But he got his money, too. I like the fact that they re-signed everyone. There was really nothing else they could really do. Like, what are you going to do, start over? Like, no, you re-sign everybody, you run this back, and you see what we can do with a different pair of eyes on you in Kenny Atkinson. So, yeah, I think they'll be the same kind of team. Will's always been a big believer in Mobley. in his game. We'll see if he can continue to take those steps because, yeah, he's a problem. He is definitely a problem. I'm a huge Jared Allen fan. I like the fact they have him. I'm interested in Garland and seeing how that kind of continues to mesh because down the line it didn't really work for them.
And there's been talk regularly about like, does the Mitchell Garland thing work?
Yeah.
And maybe if Garland, is the one who's now here, if Donovan decides to go, will that be like a good, in a similar way that people talk about Trey and DeJounte in Atlanta,
Correct.
And they ultimately decide to move DeJounte.
Yeah, and they make that decision quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 2 years in, they were like, okay, you can go. So I'm interested to see how they work that out because Garland is known for being a great defender, but he's a really good point guard. Like, that's been proven. So, yeah, I still don't see them past 4 or 5, but they'll still be good in the East. They'll be in the playoffs, and they'll be a team to contend with for sure.
Let's continue this and wrap up this Cavs conversation. A few more thoughts we have on them and their season ahead, but real quick, wanted to remind you right now that now is the time to become a CHGO diehard if you aren't already. Because we are in CHGO Bears tailgate mode. Already had our first one of the season last Sunday. Lot of fun because a bunch of your fellow Bears fans show up. A bunch of CHGO people show up. And we all talk about how insanely hyped we are as Bears fans.
Yeah.
While we drink good beer, shout out Molson Coors.
Yeah.
And eat delicious food. So when you want a ticket to that CHGO Bears tailgate, you can say, well, I'll pay the full price tailgate ticket, which is still a very good deal.
Sure is.
All you can drink. Have you seen those buckets of beer we have at our tailgates?
Oh, my Lord.
Bucket's not the right word. They're like animal floss.
Bathtubs.
They're bathtubs. All you can drink, all you can eat. But an even greater deal for those CHGO diehards who get discounted tickets to all of our various events. Like, yes, those Bears tailgates, but also we just had a staff meeting talking about it earlier today, the upcoming Bulls and Blackhawks takeovers. The same takeovers that you've been going to on north and south side of town at the ballparks for Cubs and Sox.
Yeah.
Discounts on those as well. Discounts, 20% off, in fact, every single time you shop at that ALLCITY merch locker. Get the newest and freshest stuff. Grab yourself a Sub-Zero tee or hoodie. Big Dave's brother, smart man.
Loves it.
His favorite article of clothing.
Loves it.
Grab yourself some CHGO Bear stuff, claws up. The franchise, that one I ordered on the way. Can't wait to have it in my possession.
Flex.
And then, of course, the Discord channel, Diehards Only. Hang out, talk. Don't have to deal with all of the noise and craziness and the ads and the porn bots of Twitter that exist nowadays. Just hang out in the CHGO Diehard Discord, one for every channel. Plus, all the fun trips. London, that's happening. Yeah. Arizona for Bears cards. That's
going
happening.
Down.
We got a Joe's on We watch party for Bears Week 3 next week.
On the way.
Come on down. All of our events, more fun and more affordable for you diehards. Pennies a day to become a CHGO diehard. Sign up.
Pennies.
What are you waiting for?
That's it.
Okay, guys. So focus back on Cleveland. As you're talking about, Dave, like I always just see them in this iteration of the Cavs. It's like, second round team.
Yeah.
And like kudos to that young upstart Orlando team who gave them a good fight. People thought that series was over after 2 games.
Yeah.
It was not.
It was not.
It goes 7, and the Cavs managed to win game 7. But, then the season before that, they had the whole series against the Knicks where Jared Allen, I saw somebody just talking about Jared Allen in the comment section saying like, oh, yeah, those lights were too bright. Like, not going to lie. It's like, okay, well, so what is this team? Is this team a contender or is it not? Yeah, they were more of a contender than the Bulls were for the past couple of years. That's Congratulations to you. Not a hard test.
Shout out.
But I think we posed the same question about the Knicks the other day and this big swing they made this offseason to bring in Mikal Bridges to round out their core and say, if they are at their best and if they are healthy, can they take down Boston? If Boston is healthy. I think you posed the same question about this Cavs team that basically just decided to run it back and, to use your words, Dave, hired the white J.B. Bickerstaff instead of the regular J.B. Bickerstaff. Is that enough to get over the hump of what now looks to be in the East, certainly after last season coming into this one?
Yeah.
Boston and then everybody else.
I mean, I don't think so. I think Boston is just 2 maybe steps ahead of them just in terms of the way that they play. And, I think there's something to be said for, zagging when teams are kind of building towards Boston style.
You said zagging?
Zagging, right. Going the opposite
as
direction.
As opposed to zigging.
I got you. I get it. I just wanted to make sure that was the word.
Going with the 2 bigs and the 2 guards. But it's just tough to get away with that against a team like Boston who's got 2 elite guard defenders and wing defenders, and like the bigs that you have aren't like dangerous enough offensive weapons to really make you pay for playing that style. So I don't think so. I think they could be a really good team, and I think like they could top out as a team that could maybe take a game or two off of Boston in a series. But I think right now, if Boston's healthy, they're just too good. I think they play the math too well, they defend too well, they're too versatile, and it's really tough for teams to beat them. So
yeah,
I think they're just a step behind.
It's gonna be hard. Do you feel that way about the Knicks too, like Cavs and Knicks?
I think the Knicks are trying. Oh, you mean Cavs and Knicks?
Yeah, Cavs and Knicks.
I think the Knicks are trying to build a team equipped to beat Boston. That's why you have OG and Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart and these wing defenders, but not really that same sort of like weapon in the front court. So I think unless Cleveland is, or unless New York is like really struggling to score against a team like Cleveland because of their ability to take away the paint,
sure,
I think the Knicks are just, again, a little bit too versatile. They have a little bit too many weapons, and are better equipped to handle teams like Boston. But I do think what the Cavs are doing in terms of zagging is like, that's going to work against teams that aren't at the top of the top.
Sure.
It's just not quite good enough to beat a team like the Celtics. So I think they could, like, would it surprise me if they were second? A little, but like not really. I don't know. I feel like the 2 through 6 in the East is like pretty grouped. I think there's tiers in there for sure, but it wouldn't like surprise me if the Cavs moved up one and somebody else moved down.
Yeah. Okay.
So, go ahead, Joe.
This is the most upwardly mobile team in the East and maybe the NBA.
Cleveland?
Really?
I think that they
Upwardly
could
mobile.
take a big step forward just because of the, like when we talk about them and compare their roster to the Bulls, sure, they've had similar frustrations. I think their roster is tenfold more talented. Like I think that they've got maybe not depth wise, but just in terms of like for a while I looked at it as like these guys have a legit what is building towards being a big four. And I don't think all those pieces necessarily fit together, which we've talked about. I think the Allen and Mobley pairing is really questionable, and just in terms of
unless Mobley shoots.
Correct. But I think that I'm a believer that Mobley is still gonna continue to progress. I think we all are. But so I think that there's still a new level that this team can reach. I don't think they're necessarily good enough to beat Boston, but I think that says more about Boston than it does for them.
Right.
I think that this team could be the second best team in the East just because hypothetically, just those three. If it's just Garland and Mitchell clicking and then Mobley bringing what we know he can do on the defensive end and takes another small step offensively, like why not?
That's interesting. So you're saying when you most upward mobility.
This team taking a big step forward would not surprise me.
So when you say big step forward, I'm curious. The Cavs finished 4th in the East last year at 48-34. Bucks at 49 wins, Knicks at 50. When you say big, opportunity for a big jump forward, are you talking like a 55-win team? Are you talking flirting with a 60-win team? Because Boston had 60. Boston had 64 wins, and New York was the next closest with 50.
53, 55, but I think finishing. I think this team should be gunning to finish above the Knicks. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's no reason with the talent that you have in that locker room that your goal is not to finish above the Knicks.
Right.
In my opinion.
Which then would, assuming Boston has the stranglehold on that 1 seed in the East again this year, maybe you avoid Boston in that 1-4 matchup, assuming the Cavs stay in 4-5, and instead you get yourself in 2 or 3. Yeah. You have a favorable second-round matchup, and you're talking about a team that instead of getting bounced by Boston in 5 games in round 2, is maybe playing against the Celtics and giving them a fight in the conference finals. I think I would define that as a significant step forward.
Yeah. They went on a 17-2 run in January through February. So, I think Joey's right in that they do have a little bit of untapped potential.
Sure.
If they hit that stride and continue to play like that, they could easily win 50.
Untapped potential. The Cleveland Cavaliers meet Patrick Williams. Hey, look at that. We talked about both of the things today. And we are out of time, sadly. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hit the like button on your way out.
Let me say this
Big
real
Dave,
quickly.
you got something?
Big shout out to our guy, Kevin Cada, because it's been announced, the new regional content director. Shout out to you, sir.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Assistant 2.
Antennas on him is what that means.
That's right.
Gents. Everything's on him. Shout
Being
out
in charge
to
of all of them contents.
all them contents.
All them networks.
Directing all of them.
Which,
Just
of course,
behind
when somebody vacates a position, somebody needs to fill it.
That's true.
And that news is not public, but
That's true. That's true.
y'all.
So we'll go. Got me?
No, I'm actually.
Nah, dude, he's got to go play for the Windy City Bulls.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He already has a job.
That's right. Writing and doing content and being the 2 guard. I can see it happening.
Oh, man. Oh, so many fun announcements are right around the corner, y'all.
Right around, baby.
Just like that Fresh Bowl season.
Right around, baby.
We got some fun announcements for y'all right around
I'm
there.
ready for this bull season.
Okay.
Media day.
2 weeks of media day.
2? Wow. What?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to go lay down thinking about that.
Let's go.
Big David's at Bow BWO Sports. Will to go Gottlieb. Fresh off that WCB tryout. Will_Gottlieb. Still looking perfectly coiffed.
Oh,
Post tryout.
Quaff was quaffing.
Still there.
Hoop
Amazing.
mixtape coming tomorrow.
There you go. From the one and only pal producer, Joey Spathis. He's at Joey Spathis. Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Hit the like on your way out. Make sure you subscribe. Tune to that CHGO Bears After Dark tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Time. Until then, see you, Red. Be good.
Peace.